Hello, my darlings. Sako here, and I thought today I would talk about my art journey. I have been drawing since I could pick up a pencil, but I didn't start actually taking it seriously until 5th grade. I started drawing X-Men fan art and designing my own Marvel-esque characters, little Mary Sue's, writing fan fiction, that sort of thing. So come middle school, I started writing and drawing characters based on a mixture of Tekoryu, which is like this obscure giant robot anime, mixing it with some nightmares that I was having. I had to grow up real fast, so the fiction that I was writing was really super graphic and really super dark. Then in high school, I was fortunate enough to have an excellent art teacher, Mr. Babushak, who gave me a fine art background, gesture drawing, impressionism, sumi art, linoleum printing, that sort of thing. I still have yet to have an art class that taught me as much as those 4 years taught me. Throughout high school, I was drawing a lot of anime, doing it's a takeoff on Sailor Moon. It was Pretty Umbrella Soldiers, and so me and my friends as like sailor-esque characters. I was Sailor Taurus. Yeah. I was writing a lot of fic for that. I was drawing stuff for that. Like, I was belting out, I don't know, 5 to 10 pictures a day, drawing from reference a lot, mostly for poses and stuff like that. I wasn't doing realism very much. Then I went to community college for a couple of semesters. Perspective kicked my ass. It still kind of kicks my ass, if I'm being frank. But it's so easy. Yeah, thanks. We did a lot of life drawing. We did life drawing in high school too. But we did a lot of life drawing with actually nude people, as opposed to high school where we did not have nude people. It was a lot of learning how to draw fabric and how cloth moves and stuff like that. But in college, I actually got to learn what people looked like naked and how that translated into art. Anatomy. I was actually learning, honest to God, anatomy, which I'm still working on. I'm not great at it, especially when it comes to limbs. I went to art school. I went to the Art Institute of Washington. I went for graphic design. I did not go for animation or illustration or anything like that. They did not offer illustration, so I went for graphic design because I wanted to do package design. I wanted to make packages and collateral and merchandise and stuff like that. That was super hard. The drawing classes that were required of me were super easy thanks to my background in fine art through high school and a little bit in community college. So I drew fan art for things that I was really interested in, mostly role-playing. A lot of role-playing fan art. Wow, a lot of role-playing art. So much role-playing art. Holy crap. Again, I was still belting out 5 to 10 pieces a day, at least sketches. God forbid I actually ink and color things. I was still drawing on paper. I was starting to get into digital stuff. Then I started studying for myself, right? Digital art was on the rise when I got out of college in 2006, right? While I had done digital art quite extensively in college, I wanted to start doing it for myself. I wanted to kind of cultivate my art into a style that I liked, as opposed to just fulfilling an assignment, which I didn't put any of that stuff in my portfolio. There was no point. I actually went to the point where I took 5 years learning how to transfer my traditional art skills to digital. So I wanted, and I still do, I want all of my work to look like traditional artwork. And I can go back now and draw in a traditional medium and still be able to hold my own. But it's harder now because I don't have Control Z over and over and over and over and over again. In college, I started on a little Graphire 3 tablet with a drawing area that was yay big. So I learned hand-eye coordination very early, and then I upgraded to Intuos 2 after college. And then I got into photography, and I did that professionally for 7 years as a freelance photographer. But I was still drawing, mostly RPG fan art and TV show stuff and artist challenges, and I did a lot of exercises. But I posted everything, and I appreciated everything that I did. Everything was an art piece. I did studies, but I featured even my studies, like hands. I have pages and pages and pages of hands, and I never got good at them. I'm learning still yet. These days I have gone from Intuos 4, which I go back to every once in a while, to iPad and an iPencil. So I'm using Procreate rather than Photoshop. It's basically like the best of both worlds. It's getting me back to my sketchbook days, and yet it's still digital, and I can still watercolor, and it's the best of both worlds. It really is. Since 2012, I've been drawing and doing concept art and doing other art for this story a writer hired me to do. So I've been able to say that I draw comic books for a living for the last 8 years, give or take. I still draw every day. I do try to get my work done every week. I haven't drawn for myself in freaking forever, so I'm taking this week to kind of step back and get back into fundamentals a little bit. I do remember in high school that I wanted to be an artist for Marvel at first because I was super into comics. I really admired like Jim Lee and Joe Madureira and Chris Bachalo in their X-Men stints. Later, I decided that I wanted to work for them to save them because they were making some really poor choices regarding their own franchise. And then I gave up on them altogether when I discovered that people were like self-publishing or they were going through Tokyo Pop or whatever. So I have a lot of friends who are published comic artists. So that was my story. That was my journey through my art career and how I draw things. As a note, my parents were very supportive of me pursuing art from the get-go. My mom is very right-brained. I think that's right. You know, the one that's mechanical. So she was very much so here are the geometric shapes that make up the animal. And then my father was very left-brained. No, I think it's the other way around. Brain. My dad was very organic in his art style and very cartoony. So both of my parents were artists, and they were both very supportive of me drawing, even at a young age, and then throughout my youth. And shortly before I went to art school, my dad would take my sketchbook and show it to people and ask, hey, should I send her to art school? And most everybody said yes. That was my foray into a terrible school that I'm glad is closing. I'm not gonna get into all the things that were AI and all the things that with student loans, and it's just, yeah, let's not do that. I hope you guys enjoyed this thing. Maybe I can feature some old art so that you guys get an idea of where I came from, because I wasn't always at my current level, right? What about you? Like, what was your art journey like?